the man, the myth, the legend, Ben Choppy Bachman. Looks like he just woke up from a hell of a nap or was on a bender, one of the two.
I showered. You know what? I bathed. You
had to wash that offense off of it.
Hours early. I got that fixed. I wanted to come on here, Paul. I wanted to be good. It's the first game of the season. I wanted to be nice to you. You know what? I'm not going to take pot shots at you, Paul. So I'm feeling in a good mood. So I'm going to be nice to you. You are one of the greatest hosts ever to ever do this. I'm going to say it. Okay, now.
Thanks, Ben.
I just want to point out, last year they beat Sanford 33-0. They had less yards than they did today. Stetson Bennett missed multiple throws in that game. I think he turned over the ball. I think, who was the other one? Kent State. They looked atrocious for Kent State last year. People need to stop overreacting. Beck, there's two things. I'll say this about Beck. One, agreeing with Dayne, and one, disagreeing. Beck's issue is when it's bad, it can spiral. But when it's good, he's as deadly as any quarterback in terms of when he was on in practice, he was by far the best quarterback. When he's off, mentally, he can lose it. Yeah, and I know Dayne's going to disagree with that. He's the most.
I have sources that disagree with that. That like through fall camp, it wasn't ever like fully that he was the best quarterback. It's just that he's been there the longest and he knows the system better.
But when you look at Monken, I'll say this about why I trust when Todd Monken says he's the most natural passer.
Here's what I found.
I have full faith in his evaluations, in large part because he was the first to offer Dylan Raiola. He was the first to offer Juju Lewis and the other top 26 quarterback. The guy knows quarterbacks. He knows them. So when Todd Monken says Carson Beck's the next guy and he's my most natural passer, I trust it. Now I know he's gone.
Ben, you can say that, but Todd Monken admitted that he didn't see Stetson Bennett's potential.
Wait a minute. So you also brought up two other points. Gunnar Stockton doesn't know the offense, and Brock Vandagriff, who I've seen. This isn't just your source. I've seen it. His arm angle and his launch point, they have to correct his motion, his throw motion. They had to correct that. That's a huge issue.
Okay, is he going to be more accurate than Carson Beck was on downfield passes?
Doesn't know the offense. So you have to go to Carson Beck.
No, you don't. You think Vandagriff would have been more inaccurate than Beck was in that first half?
Mechanics and the other doesn't know the offense. You can't play them.
You think that Vandagriff's mechanics would have made him more inaccurate than Beck was in that first half? Because I do not. It may have been equal.
In the first quarter. So, wait a minute. So, in last year, the same things were happening with Stetson. And also, I also want to point out the offense, the game. I mean, we already have people firing Bobo. I think that's ridiculous. Yeah. They're going to be vanilla. The play calling is going to be vanilla in a game like this. It is. If people think they're just going to unleash the full playbook against UT Martin, they're clueless. When you're running the ball up the middle on 3rd and 5, and you're doing the most generic passing concepts, I get it. He missed some throws early. But as the game went on, the second quarter, the third quarter, he was way better. I don't think he missed a pass in the third quarter. So as the game went on, he got better. He needs to get into a rhythm. I'm with you. When he's off, he's off. I remember the UAB practice before. I remember, 21, when he was supposed to be a starter? He had an atrocious practice. He was named starter, and then mentally it got to him. I've said it for a while, Dane. I don't think it's the accuracy. I think it's the mental. I think the mental is his problem. I don't think it's the accuracy, his mobility.
But shouldn't that be his strength after 3 years?
I get that, but I think it's more of when he throws a bad pass, he goes haywire, and that's the thing he has to control. If he gets that, I think he has all the ability.
But then you're not going to win a title that way. That's just not going to happen. Because
who's going to beat you on this schedule?
Stetson Bennett would make a bad pass, he'd come back and throw a touchdown.
As long as he doesn't turn the ball over, who's going to beat you on the schedule? South Carolina?
I mean,
with the worst Power 5 offensive line I've ever seen.
It may take till SEC championship, but like you're Georgia. You're not just trying to go 12-0, you're trying to go 15-0.
But if you're 12-0, you're in the playoff.
Okay. You're in the playoff and you lose in the semifinal because you have a quarterback that can't throw downfield. Great. Is that an accomplishment?
Okay. Well, and then you have who you face in the playoff. Michigan, who you're more talented and have better guys on both lines of the trenches, in my opinion.
If Georgia doesn't,
who has a horrific defense, who you could play quarterback, Paul or me, and score on. You have is Texas. No, we're not talking about Texas. No, I'm not talking about them. Ohio State was awful today. Who, in my opinion, unless Alabama finds a quarterback, I don't think there's a team that's more balanced than Georgia, regardless of the quarterback situation. And you know what? Joel Klatt said this. I was listening to him. He said the reason why I don't have worries about Georgia than Alabama is they're not a quarterback-centric team. They're a balanced offense. Now, the offense was anemic with the play calling early and all that, and Beck was inaccurate. I get it. I agree with you. But for you to say because Beck missed a few throws in the first quarter, they can't win a national title, I think is egregious.
Find me the last inaccurate quarterback that won a title. You're not going to find it.
I mean, did you see Stetson in 21 versus Bama? Was he accurate?
Bruh, go back to that fourth quarter.
And then guess what happened the next year? He improved.
Go back to that.
And guess what happened at the beginning of that year? He wasn't the starter. Over the course of the year, he improved. He was bad in the SEC title game, great in the national title game. He improved. You're thinking Beck in his first start isn't going to improve? You know what he did over the course of the game, Dayne? He improved. He was bad in the first quarter, and in the third quarter, he was the best of his football. You can't just say first quarter, the guy sucks.
Are y'all done?
This is great. It started. So I'm glad you came back. It started at 51 minutes. I wrote it down. We're now at 57. I haven't said a single word. This is excellent. This has really been quite fun for me because I've let my voice, get better a little bit there.
Rest in those pipes.
I mean, that was excellent. Do you guys want to keep going?
I mean, I'm going to be proven right in history here. Like, I'm totally fine with it. If Georgia sticks with Carson Beck, is not winning a third title.
Wait a minute, you're going to be proven right? Like, DJ Uiagalelei is the greatest quarterback of all time? Like,
I mean, when I said
don't
that.
say you're always proven right.
I said he was a better quarterback than Georgia had going into that game, and then the other one was JT Daniels. About the same.